guys, thanks for jumping on this webinar today. We're here with Chris Jones and myself, and today we're going to give you guys the tools that you need to optimize your Amazon listing in order to boost sales, increase conversions, and make more money. So, Chris, before we go into the technical part of this, can you give a little bit of background on yourself and your journey of how you got up to so much success on Amazon?
Yeah, sure thing. So I actually started out as a personal trainer many years ago. I got into kind of the fitness when I was about 18 years old. That was a big passion of mine, and I wanted to pursue something different. So I started out as a personal trainer. I in a sense, I've always wanted to help someone else. So I've always been very selfless in the fact that I didn't just want to work for myself. I always wanted to make a transformation in someone else's life and not just my own. So I started with personal training. So I did personal training in local gyms around Wales and the UK. So that's Cardiff and Bristol, and that's in Pembrokeshire and some other places around the UK. And I just started to do that for about 3 to 5 years. And I built up quite a good name and authority within the personal training kind of local industry for myself, which was great. But I found myself very indulged in working, 12 hours a day, sometimes 16 hours a day for a wage that at the start was paying my way. But then when I wanted to maybe move into a nicer flat or afford a nicer car, that just was not viable financially and time viable. It just wasn't happening. And one night, I think everyone goes through a certain stage of this. One night I came home from my shift at the gym, and I thought, I am covered in sweat. I've just done 12 hours of personal training back to back, and now I've got to be back in the gym in 6 hours time to repeat that for another 4 days before I can possibly take a day off. And I thought, how long can I actually do this before I just break, snap, or just shout at my manager and he kicks me out anyway? So I went home that night and I typed in on Google. Honestly, this is the story. I typed in on Google, how do I make money while I sleep? And I can still remember it. And that process then, from there, all of these Google results come up, and it was just like crazy. It was a new world to me. And I actually started doing some Kindle Direct Publishing stuff, which was, I would pay someone to write an ebook, who was over in like India, Sri Lanka, the States, and I would ask these people to write an ebook for me on a topic. And this, of course, was Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. I didn't have a clue what this was. I didn't know. All I knew that this was a possible route for me to earn that, passive income that most people dream of, and that can set you apart and be financially free, which was it didn't seem that I wanted to go down that route at the time. But then when I started to earn a couple of £100 a month from selling ebooks that I hadn't wrote myself, then it came alive much more, and I thought this could actually be a very viable process that could serve me well into the long term. So months went on. I started doing the ebook stuff, and it was pretty consistent. But then I came across Amazon FBA, which is of course fulfillment by Amazon, and that again just blew my mind. And it was in a sense where I could create my own branded product, which is called private label, and I could sell those brands on Amazon, those products on Amazon myself in a fully automated process, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I could just sit back on my laptop and let my products do the work for me. And I think Robert Kiyosaki always goes on about making money work hard for you and not the other way around. And I just indulged myself in all of this information. I wanted to become the master. So I self-taught myself for many months prior to this. So before this process of starting the Amazon FBA journey, I literally locked myself in my room in my grandparents' house for 7 months straight, 12 hours a day. I was researching. I was like a little person in a room, like you can imagine, like quilts over him, maybe getting a meal in a day. Like if anyone came in, I would shut the door, and it was like 7 months of very hard work, watching videos, reading, just endless engulfing myself in knowledge. And after that, I stepped up to the confidence factor of saying, all right, I'm gonna do this. Like, of course, I had no money because I'd quit my job as a personal trainer. I had moved home. I had nothing. So I thought I had to do something to get this money. So I actually approached an investor. So I approached an investor, and he gave me the capital to start up. 16 months down the line, we've just turned £300,000 in revenue. And, you know, that to even say that to myself is absolutely crazy. You know, £300,000 UK. And that, you know, the rest is history. And now it's just turning into an endless flow of knowledge and me just wanting to help and add value to other people's lives to do this.
So Chris, you said you made around £300,000, sorry.
Yes, yeah.
But a lot of people that might seem out of reach, right? So I want to clear up a few limiting beliefs here. Who can achieve the same results that you have achieved? Who can do it?
I personally think there's no limitations on anyone that can't do this. Some people think of, you know, I think of some numbers on Amazon when they're doing millions a year. Like, that is massive. And that becomes very overwhelming for the person who's just looking to get into this. Like, £300,000 is a lot of money. You don't have to, you know, I didn't set out to do that much money, okay? It just kind of came. And when those processes flow so well, you build up so much momentum where those revenue and sales factors do just rise. But some people aren't committed in earning that much money. Maybe they just want to be financially free with this on the side and working a part-time job. Whatever the interest, whatever your passion lies, you can do that. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to turn this into a full-time thing, this is so possible for you to quit the 9 to 5 that everyone dreads waking up in the morning for, and this is a viable business model. And it can be achieved at any revenue.
Absolutely. And you know, I think what's important to note is that by focusing on a few very key things and by kind of pushing everything else aside and really hunkering down into this, that anybody can find success by following in your footsteps, right? But let's provide some value on this webinar, okay? We promised that we were going to teach 4 crucial things to becoming successful on Amazon and to kind of putting the business on autopilot, if you will, right? Getting that passive income, making money while you sleep, okay? Yeah. The first thing we promised to teach was how to perfect your Amazon listing from head to toe. Basically doing a listing page makeover from 0 to hero. So can you give some insight on that, please?
Yeah, of course. So, okay, so I see my product page listing, which is the search engine of Amazon. Let's say you type in yoga mat. So you typed in yoga mat on Amazon search engine, all these results display. There is so much competition in some of these categories, as everyone knows. But as a consumer point of view, you're looking for the best product at the best price and for the product listing that looks the best, both visually and reads fantastically well. That's just the way it goes. So as a seller, you want to make your product page like your own website. This is probably the most crucial thing that you have to nail in on when creating an Amazon listing. So you've got to look at it as it's like a canvas. Like you can draw, you can pick points, and you can perfect your Amazon listing, which comes from your title, which is the top bit in your Amazon listing. Then you get your 5 key features, which is another really crucial element for you to display what your product is about. It's, you know, its functions, its visuals, what different factors it brings the consumer, your images, so you can see some high quality visuals, which really attracts customers, and then description. So, you know, you see a lot of product pages these days which have clumpy descriptions, and it's just a product page that you don't like to read, you don't like to look at. And the important thing from a seller's point of view is, if it looks bad and it sounds rubbish, then it's probably not going to convert. And to me, that's a very simple and basic form that you have to hone in on. So you have to look at it as a blank canvas where you can, you know, dot the I's, cross the T's, and all of that stuff to make it look the way you want it to look and sound the way you want it to sound.
So if I could jump in at this point and just kind of give a little bit of an example, right? If you're going to have a product that is very visually based, right? So say somebody's trying to buy a t-shirt from you or a coffee mug or something, there are tons of other t-shirts and coffee mugs that you're competing with, right? So if you haven't optimized these 4 things that you're talking about, right? The title, the key features, the images, and the description, if you aren't standing out and excelling in all of those categories, you're going to get beat by the competition, okay? But again, let's provide some value on this webinar, okay? So I want to go step by step, right? Each of these 4 things, and I want you to describe exactly how to optimize it to the fullest.
Okay. So point number 1, okay, and this really is vital for standing out in Amazon's search engine. So as you know, people search on Amazon for keywords. Yes, Chris, that's pointing out the obvious. Great, we know that. But without those keywords, okay, being in your title, key features, description, back-end keywords of your Amazon listing, the potential for you to show up for those keywords that potentially millions of customers and millions of eyes are going to see will be lowered. It will be suboptimal. So point 1 would be to include your main keywords. I aim for 3 to 5 main keywords, both short tail and long tail keywords. So that might look something like yoga mat, short tail, yoga mat for beginners, long tail keywords. You want to include a variation. Okay, so let's not confuse too much, but you want to include these variation keywords in your number 1 title, and bear in mind these keywords must be in each of these components. So they must be in your title, your key features. Try to include them once each in the key features. So you get 5 key features. Try to add them in just once. Don't over keyword it with multiple uses of the same keyword or phrase. Okay, so that's title, key features included in both. Now we're moving on to the description, number 3. So again, title's got them, key features got them. Now we're going to add them into the description. That's optimized on the front end. So that's what your customer or potential customer can see. Optimized from the front end. And then you get number 4, which is your back end keywords, your platinum keyword and search terms. Now, all of those sections which have the keywords, which is your title, key features, description. Number 4 is your keyword platinum searches. All of those have to be in the back end as well as the front end to match up so that listing becomes fully optimized. So people, when they're searching for yoga mat, you have the potential to come up. And what happens then is when you go into the pay-per-click, which we'll go into soon, that will convert at a much higher rate. Without those keywords in there, it will not be optimized and people will not be able to see it, at least at its full potential. It will lack. So that is a vital, vital element of pushing your product in the right direction.
And I wanna jump in here and just say that we're going to go into a little bit more about how to pick those keywords later on. But this is to perfect this first part is perfecting the actual listing itself, right? So you want to pick your keywords, all right? And when you're picking your keywords, you want to make sure, like Chris said, that they are highly relevant to the product, right? So you want to be thinking in your customers' minds, what am I going to type in order to find my own product? Okay, you want to be thinking what your customer is going to type in to find your product, okay? So once we've optimized the title, the key features, and the product description, okay, that's going to attract people. That's going to get them to be able to see your product, okay? But Chris, how important are images, your product images, and how do you go about gathering the proper images for your listing?
Okay, so again, another really important part to creating a fully optimized listing. If you haven't got a good photo, no one's going to click on it. I always, Ben, refer back to YouTube. If you look through YouTube and there's a really nice looking thumbnail, regardless of what the title looks like, you're going to click it. That is just how it goes. Visuals are the way forward. It's like text and video in 2017. I've heard that 90% of marketing advertising is going to be video at the end of 2017. And there is no arguing with that. It's all becoming what you look at. It becomes secondary to read things, despite many people disagreeing with me on that. That is the way it's going. It's going video, especially podcasts. Podcasts are going massive these days. So what you want to look at is relating to your product. You want to pick the best images, obviously, possible to stand your product out. So Amazon have a few terms of service and guidelines the way to do this. It should be 1000 times 1000 pixels, so it portrays a nice center image, okay? And it has a zoom factor, so when the customer goes onto your page, they hover over each image. It could be 7 images in the UK or 9 images in the US, depending on which platform marketplace you're selling in. It will have a zoom factor. So if you're selling like a supplement or a pet product and there's some writing on the actual product, you can zoom in and you can read that writing, and that's something that that plays into Amazon's algorithm in my thinking. So where do I get my images? I'm not sure if other sellers are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's all about the value. I go over to www.shutterstock.com. So that's shutterstock.com, and that's a paid photo site. Okay, so you could type in, let's say you're selling a phone cover. Okay, you haven't got the money to do professional phone cover photos. So what I would recommend, and I do to all my clients, is to head over to shutterstock.com and type in that main keyword, phone case, and then all of these images will come up. And then what you can do, you can pick one of these images, and then you can put the mock-up file of what your private label product looks like onto that Shutterstock image. Your designer, your graphic designer, should be able to do that. If he's got good experience, he'll be able to do that regardless of the color, size, and anything. He can change that, its dimensions, to look the way you want. So with Amazon's guidelines, you should have your main image on a complete white background. So that would look something like that, on a white background, and then your other photos can follow with more promotional imagery, which means, you could have someone talking on the mobile in a photo with a nice scenic background behind, and you can also do some promos, buy 2, get 25% off. So you can add them into the visuals that are across the screen on the left-hand side when looking at that product page listing. But just to backtrack, images are massively important. Do not dismiss images. Do not leave any images blank. If Amazon allow you 7 or 9 images, don't stop at 3, don't stop at 4. Optimize and go all the way to 7 or 9, depending on the marketplace, and take full advantage of that, because you never know. Someone could come onto your site and they might not like to read, but they would like to look at your images, and that would be enough for them to click that big orange buy button in the top right-hand corner. So you make sure that you are paying attention to every single element, guys.
And I just want to jump in, okay, because, again, I want to assume that people listening have not even started, and they're at step 0. They're making $0 a month, $0 a day, okay?
Yeah.
So you mentioned having your graphic designer, put the private label on top of that Shutterstock image, okay? Where do you go to find graphic designers? If I'm just an average Joe, I don't really know that many graphic designers. Do I go to Fiverr.com? Do I go to Upwork.com? Do I find freelancers? Do I ask around? How do I find good graphic designers?
So there's a few options here. Like you just said, you can go over to Fiverr.com, which is a outsourcing site. There's also Upwork, which was previously Odesk, I believe.
It's a freelance website.
Yeah, it's a freelance site. And then there's also, which is one of my favorites, especially for the writing and content sort of stuff, which is freelancer.com. So these are great outsourcing sites where you can go onto these sites, you can post your project in full description, a full brief of what you want, and then what happens is these outsourcers or freelancers from all around the world will start bidding on your project. It is a very, very simple process, and I think more people need to know this, because you could search for people on Facebook. You could maybe do a Facebook ad and say you want this, you want that, or you could search for your friends, families, people you know. But sites like Freelancer, sites like Upwork are making it so easy for the person that's living in the UK to get a design done by someone in the US, and vice versa all around the world. So really, the simplicity of it is you can message someone one day, 2 or 3 days later, you can have your design. And that's how simple it needs to be. So I would recommend, especially for saving costs in the short term, to head over to Freelance, Fiverr, Upwork, and various outsourced sites like that, and just get it done. Work with a designer who you have a nice standing relationship with, and if it goes well the first time and he creates something magical, stick with it, build a nice foundation with him, and give him bonuses or her bonuses for the good work that they do. Because a relationship in business is like a best friend in real life. You have to get on well. If it doesn't, it turns into turmoil, things happen, and then end a relationship. Try to build that up in such a way where you see the longevity of working with each other for years to come. So that's what I'd recommend. Head over to freelancer.com, Fiverr with 2 R's at the end.com, or upwork.com, and start to ask these designers the questions that you may have. The prices, how long is it going to take? What is their experience? Can they see your certificates of work? Can you see previous work they've done? Things like this. Ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. And this goes for all areas of life, not just business. The person who asks the most questions gets the most answers. The person who gets the most answers learns the more things. It's just the way it goes. Do not be afraid to ask a question. That's just the way it goes. And personally, that's the way I'd recommend someone to go.
But like you said, you really can't be afraid to ask those questions. You're the one that's hiring these freelancers, okay? So you need to make sure that you're watching out for your best interest. So the first person that applies to your job, don't just take it immediately, right? You want to make sure that you're getting a good price. So I'd recommend at least 3 bids before you accept any one of them. At least 3 bids. Okay, so we've talked about the title, we've talked about key features, we've talked about images, we've talked about description, and we've even thrown in a little bonus of talking about how to find a graphic designer, okay? So now let's talk about optimizing our Amazon PPC, our pay-per-click, to drive targeted traffic to our product listing.
Okay, so PPC, Amazon has its own pay-per-click PPC system, okay? So what this is once and only after you set up what we've just talked about, which I think was point 1, and that's optimizing your front end, what people can see, product page listing, okay? And that's on Amazon. That's what we were talking about, your title, your key features. If all of these aren't set and those main keywords are into each one of those sections, don't even say PPC. Do not click it. Do not talk about it to a friend. Do not turn it on. First off, you have to perfect that front end product page listing. But then once you have perfected it and the keywords that people have searched for, both similar and semi-similar keywords are included, head over to the advertising section within your Seller Central Amazon account. Click that big fat button called Advertising PPC, and this is a process that can go 2 ways. So you can turn on an automatic PPC ad, okay, which is Amazon will gather all of the information. This is an important part. So Amazon, goes for automatic, guys, automatic campaigns. So Amazon will gather all of the information that you've put in your front end keywords, okay, all of that information, those sentences, those phrases, every little nitty grit, they'll put it up and they'll chuck it out to your customers. So you want to set it up in such a way where you have all your keywords relevant to your product. You can also bid, okay, so this is where it comes in. So the more competition market you're in, let's say you're in the yoga mat space, you're going to have to bid a higher pay per click to be ordered to show up further in Amazon's search engine. So Amazon give you 2 options. So actually 2 options. You're allowed to do both of these. So it's the pay per click. So you can put something down like $1 per click. So that means that for every time someone clicks on your product, so this is a potential customer that they see your product. You probably saw it yourself, guys. It says sponsored at the top of the search page on Amazon. Every time someone clicks on that, the seller gets charged $1. Now, why do they do that? Why would someone want to pay $1 for someone to click on there and potentially not buy it? All of this, again, I know this might seem like I'm spitting out my words again, but all of this comes on-page conversions, and that is point 1. Again, I know you guys might be saying, yeah, Chris, we've heard that, but we need to go over the point of how important the front end is. Because if the front end isn't optimized, then your PPC will not convert at the rate that you want it to. And then all you can do in your PPC, so you set your pay-per-click, the higher you set it, the more chance you're going to be showing up for those keywords, which is an automatic campaign. You also set your daily budget. Now, there's a few tricks. With this daily budget. I personally I personally think that the higher daily budget spend that you set, the higher Amazon will place you up in their search. But why? Because I think if you're willing to spend money and show Amazon in a saving point, when you save that money, say you spend $500 a day, but you set it as $500 a day, you show Amazon that you're willing to spend that $500 a day, even though you might not even go over $10, $20 a day on spend, but it shows Amazon that you as a seller are willing to spend that money regardless of anything. So I believe that has something definitely to do with Amazon's algorithm, and they will chuck you up further in the ranks to show that. Part two of PPC is the manual campaigns. So you've got your automatic campaigns, which show up all the keywords and information that's on page. Say if you bring out maybe a peculiar product, a different product, and you couldn't really include the keyword within that on page, so your title, key features, description that everyone could see, you could set up a manual campaign, and you could put some different keywords that you couldn't fit on your on page into the manual sequence. So that will help Amazon. Amazon to show them that you want to show up for different search terms, and that's what the manual is for. And personally, I don't really do much on the manual stuff, because if your page is optimized for its full potential on page, then I think automatic converts at such a way where it becomes very, very powerful. So my conversions at the moment on one of my good products, they're all good, obviously. And so I spend around 234, pretty precise. So that's £234 on PPC. This is lifetime now, okay? So this shows how little you need to spend on PPC to make the revenue that you can. So this is lifetime on one product. I've spent £234 UK, but I've made back £1,464 in PPC. So you can see the conversions that can bring you, and the power that it can bring both sales and revenue if all of that is structured and put in place properly. So I hope that's helped, and that's kind of a little step-by-step system.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of clarify a little bit, it seems to me like the idea is to optimize on the front end. Make sure once people land on your product page that they buy, okay? And then once you've gotten that down, you're trying to send as much traffic as you possibly can, as much targeted traffic as you possibly can that way, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, you want to make your product page as awesome as you possibly can, so people go, this is awesome. Regardless how good this product is, I'm going to buy it anyway, because I want the experience of what this seller's offering me. Okay? Obviously you want your product to be of superior quality. That has to be a first. If your product's not of high quality, don't even bother releasing it. Look for something else. There's one very important part which I think many sellers look past, dismiss, because they just want their product on Amazon straight away, tomorrow. They want it tomorrow. They never look further into the long term. I would prefer to wait another 3 months to really work on creating a high quality product with my supplier, rather than just chucking myself in with a substandard or standard product and competing with the competition on price and always battling for the lowest price because you can't stand out because you've got the same product as everyone else. There's different ways to stand out. So you can stand out on color, style, variation, patterns, boxing, packaging. There's lots of things you can stand out with. Offer more value than anyone else in your market. The more value you can produce to someone, the better chances of them buying your product. That is just simple. Do not go into something if you're not willing to differentiate. That's just not going to happen. Maybe it'll happen for the short term, great, but who wants to be in business on Amazon for the short term? No one. Look for that end goal. Look for that end goal in terms of you can sell your business if you do this properly in 3 to 5 years. And that is the reality. And that's what I want people to envision when starting out. Not because they can make 20, 30, 40, 100 grand a month through this, but because in 3 to 5 years, they could potentially be set for lifetime, their family's taken care of, their future kids, everything. And that's the vision that I've set out with. And I think everyone needs to get that into their heads, stop thinking about the short term and portray that long-term vision.
So just to be clear, with this process, right, if we're gonna follow your steps and your guidance to the T, then in 3 to 5 years, if we do everything correctly, we could sell our business, all right, our Amazon FBA business. We could sell that and we could retire. We could retire in 3 to 5 years. That's incredible. That is incredible. And you know what? You don't have to sell it if you don't want. You can keep it going, keep building it up. But to have that option of retiring in 3 to 5 years, that's powerful. Okay, that's powerful. So let's keep going. Let's really add some value to this this webinar. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about, because we've talked about perfecting our Amazon listing, we've talked about optimizing our pay-per-click, and we even threw in that little bonus of the graphic designer tidbit and the part about quality, right? Let's talk about selecting the correct keywords for our products so that they show up on top of Amazon search engine. Okay, so I want you to answer a few questions. How do we pick keywords? Okay, how do we do that research, right? And how do we test them out?
Okay, so I personally think this is the easiest way or the easiest thing to do with Amazon. Amazon is like Google. Google is like YouTube. They're the same thing. They're powerful search engines, even though Amazon is slowly moving past them in terms of volume. This is what makes it very easy and comfortable for us to search for these terms on Amazon and put that into our listing, knowing those keywords are of massive potential. So this is simple. Guys, if you can, click off your screen and go onto Amazon right now, okay, get another screen up and just click something like, okay, I'm going to go with a yoga mat example again. So if you go onto the Amazon search engine, Amazon UK, US, or another marketplace, start to type in a few of the letters of the main keyword. So if it's yoga mat, start to type in YO, now stop. Now have a look at this drop-down menu that's appearing under what you've typed in. This is what everyone is searching for on Amazon. See these main results here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the most powerful keywords that relate to these terms. Now type in G, then type in A, then type in a space, and look at all these results. This is how the keyword system works. If you can click on some of these keywords, it will portray different products, okay, on these pages. And if I'm honest, this is one of the main ways that I do it. So it comes on, and the main keyword will be yoga mat. So let's click enter. It brings us onto the first page with all the products for the keyword yoga mat. And now you get to see all of these search terms. You get to see how many reviews these products have got, so you can actually investigate and see how you can beat these products. What keywords are the biggest sellers doing? What are they using? What are their images like? What's their title? What's their key features description like? So you can kind of, put your binoculars on, have a little sneak at their listings, and kind of replicate and use the keywords that they use. It's a system that everyone uses, but I think for some people they try to overcomplicate it and they look at Google for search term keywords and they look at else places, and then it starts to become very overwhelming. So I would literally type in a few letters, words, and then see the drop-down menu and have a look at the sentences that appear. Yoga mat for beginners, yoga mat and yoga blocks, yoga mats with an S, yoga mat with just ending in the T, and you get to see these search term results. And then the power comes up, and then you have a big smile on your face, and you can put that into practice. And honestly, that's one of the simplest ways to do it. And obviously, if you do want to look further into this, I'm going to give you like a little secret which I use, and that's Google Trends. Have you ever been across this, Ben?
Yes. Yeah. You actually turned me on to Google Trends, and it's incredible. Like, it is so powerful.
No. So what we'll do is type into Google Trends. So again, we're going to go with the keyword yoga mat. So we'll go into Google Trends, and we type in the main keyword, and Google Trends will show you the level of volume that the keyword yoga mat has been selling at and its popularity. So there's 3 ways that Google Trends sees this. It's a maintenance stream, which is like, we'll go with like a trend. So is it a dying trend, a maintenance trend, or a growing trend? So you go in and you type that keyword in. And this is one of like the backup plans that I use if I'm maybe not sure about a certain keyword. Head over to Google Trends. This is after typing it in on Amazon search engine. And you can see if that keyword is a maintenance trend, which is good, it's very consistent. Is it a dying trend over the years? Okay, or is it a rising trend? Is it rising up to the top? So obviously, if it's a rising trend, guys, you've got to look at how many years it's been rising. If it went from 2014 like this, 2016, there is a possibility it might slip back down come in 2017. So I always go for the keywords that are very, very consistent over the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, because that's got longevity in. Dying trend, you want to stay away, but there are some pitfalls in that consistent trend that might go down. So you've just got to sit back, take your time, be patient with it, and cross-reference the keyword that you've typed in on Amazon to the keyword that you've typed in on Google Trends, and just turn on the switch in your head. And yoga mat, everyone knows what a yoga mat is. Think like that. Think, where is that consistency of that keyword coming from? And for extra security, head over to Google Trends, type it in, and go from there. Keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate the process. And just try not to get overwhelmed with all of the different things that happen in your head, especially the search terms of keywords. Just black out all of the noise and start to focus on the real important aspects of what's going to bring you the biggest results.
So if I could jump in for a second, I just want to kind of simplify this process a little bit more if possible, okay? So what we're talking about here when we're talking about keywords is we're trying, again, to figure out what are my customers going to type in to Amazon in order to find my product, right? So you're going on, for yoga mat, you're typing in YO, and you're seeing the Amazon suggested searches, okay? Now, I want to add in a little tidbit here, right? You want to go, and if you're using Chrome, for example, you want to go in incognito mode, okay? Because what Amazon does is it tracks your searches, and when you have your own account, right, and it will skew the results. So by going into incognito mode, by being logged out of Amazon, okay, you're getting untainted results. You're getting results of any random person. The majority of people, when they search, that's what you want to be seeing. You don't want to see a search result based on your search history, okay? You want to see it based off of what the masses are searching for, okay?
Yeah.
And so once you find these keywords, right, then you're going to want to double check with Google Trends, exactly like Chris said. And it's not that difficult. It's research, and it's simplistic, right? The more logical it is that, okay, people, in order to find a yoga mat, they're going to type in yoga mat. Like, it just makes sense, right? So we're not trying to fight it. We're not trying to go do all these tricks and different things. We're simply using Amazon to figure out Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Amazon to figure out Amazon. Okay. But let me ask you a question, Chris. Okay, because I think this one's important. Once you pick your keywords, okay, and you've done your research, you've checked it, okay, how do you know whether or not those keywords are performing, and how do you know when, if at all, to change them?
Okay, so I think this is just a matter of letting your listing do its thing. I think this is just a matter of not focusing too much attention and worrying when you have a few bad days or a few good days. I think you have to look more longer into the process. Is there a way of really seeing if those keywords convert? In Amazon's PPC, in the internal system, there is a report tracker where you can see what keywords do better than others. So there is a certain way to track this. But again, try not to focus so much on these details. Optimize the listing to its full potential. Let it run its course. And if sales are coming in, don't fight it. Don't change it to think, oh, if it's 8 sales, I'm going to change this little bit to get 10 sales. Be patient with it. Stay consistent. Do not add too many different elements here, there, and everywhere. Stay the course. Be consistent, everything. Focus in on that long-term vision and start to scale up your PPC in a way where it's viable financially. Don't rush into it. set a low cost per click to start, set a medium daily budget, and then build from there. And I think the best way to do it is to work on how many sales you're getting and the percentage of how your PPC is converting. I think that is probably the best way to do it, and just not to run around frantically asking different people, because you're going to get a million questions and then you'd be back to square one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, I want to wrap up pretty soon because we've been going on for a while, right? But I feel like we should add one more piece of value, okay? Now, this is the fourth thing that we promised, which is how to generate high quality, unbiased product reviews and seller feedback, because they are different.
Okay, so I'll just add some clarity on this situation, because I do get a lot of messages regarding this, and since October, Amazon have made a change. So let me just explain what's happened. So previous to this year's October, you could, as a seller, go on to various, I'm going to say, softwares online. Okay, good one, Christy boy. So you go onto these softwares and you could actually place your product on. So you're putting your Amazon product on this software, all done on the computer, obviously. No physical handling, guys. We don't do that. We let FBA do that. And so you could set it up for a discount. So say if I'm going to set my phone cover for 75% off, I will put it on a platform. So this software has had a load of reviewers where they would go and want to review your product for 75% off. Okay, so it would be called, I will give you my product for 75% off in exchange for an honest and unbiased review on my product listing. Great, so that ended. Okay, long story short, that's gone now. That ended in October. Okay, there was too much trouble going on with all the Amazon stuff. People blamed Amazon and had a lot of temper tantrums, guys. But look, Amazon is, I can't even say the scale that it's at. They do not make these decisions based on annoying people. They are making these decisions to better their sellers. Look, with a massive amount of revenue coming from third-party sellers, private labelers like ourselves, they do not want to annoy us to a scale where we want to take our products off. So they make every decision in the best interest of our heart as well as this. So this has left a few people complicated, both with their product sales and in their mind, just maybe wanted to quit and take their products off because they're struggling for reviews and so on. Look, this is the thing. You can still give away your products for a discount. And let's talk launch, Ben, okay? So let's say we're launching this phone cover tomorrow. I'm in panic. What do I do? So because Amazon have made this change, they've made the change only to say that you can't receive the product in exchange for a review. That doesn't go to say that I can't set a discount code still on these softwares, the friends, families, or whoever, and give them the product discount. But all I can't say or expect or an intention of going in with to ask these people for a review in exchange for that. So that is off the cards. You can't do that anymore. But with a discount and the majority of giveaways, if you do this on launch, this is where the power comes. So you can still rank high for your bestseller ranking, which is your BSR. We won't go too into that now. And you can still chuck your product up in the rankings based on giving away products at a discount in a bulk on day one. So you can still spike your BSR, which means you could be sitting on page 100 in the first hour of your launch of going live. And then at the end of the 24th hour in the day, you could be on page 1 sitting with the big players. This is why, okay? And all you'd have to do then is you can use a follow-up sequence such as Seller Labs, Feedback Genius do all of this. And I think Jungle Scout have just launched a new one too. Excuse me. And you can actually use the follow-up, and again, sorry, the email follow-up sequence to follow up with the customers that you use to launch the product for 75% off, haven't asked them for a review, haven't asked them for exchange of feedback. Then you can follow up with an email. You can create some value to the customers. You can simplify this, Ben, after. So you can add value to the customers that have bought, which could be the people on the softwares, could be your friends and family, anything like that. And you start to give some value. So I would set a follow-up sequence email to your customers, which is all done through Amazon's internal messaging system. So I would set 3 to 4 emails. I would not ask for feedback on First email, second email, third email, fourth email. I would try to provide as much value as I can throughout these emails. Maybe first one, it would be a congratulations, we look forward to hearing you. And it would say on the end of the first email, look forward to your free ebook relating to this product on email 2, and so on. And then maybe on the third or fourth email, I would say, thank you so much for being a part of our company. We appreciate every single element of your custom. If you would like to give us some sort of feedback, you can do so here. And that is probably the best and most effective way to do it, because you're providing the utmost value. Amazon can see that because it's done through their internal messaging service. It's all done, it's automated, and it's all scripted. You can see all of that. And Seller Feedback, which is Feedback Genius, Seller Lab, sorry, they can give you templates to use, so you can go more into that too. So the process of getting reviews, is it harder? Yes, of course it's harder. For the long term, is it going to be better for you? Yes. Why do I say that? So I look at it like this. We bring our phone cover out, okay, and we're bestseller. So we've got $5,000 we've invested in our phone cover, and now we're generating 50 sales a day. Great, and we've got our 100 reviews. But before October, before Amazon made the review change, that means a big company with £100,000 capital investment could come in. They could chuck £25,000 at getting reviews at these softwares, and we would be out of business. We'd be way down. And I think Amazon have seen that big companies can't come in and just manipulate the small sellers. They can't buy them out in terms of, there's no buying reviews. That's against anyway. But they can give away so much product at a discount where they can afford to lose money, where small businesses cannot afford to do that, and they would be stuck in the mud. It just wouldn't happen. I truly believe Amazon has seen that, even though the short term people have got fussed, they get annoyed. But this is the vision that I think Amazon are going with, and that is more beneficial than any seller could imagine, because that is the best interests at heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. So kind of to simplify and summarize, basically what we want to do is we want to give our customers a discount, okay? And this discount we want to give them during our product launch within the first 24 hours. And the reason we want to do that is we want to spike Amazon's algorithm, okay? Because it is a mathematical algorithm, and we want to give it what it needs. And what it needs are sales, okay? So we need a ton of sales in the beginning, okay, to get us high up on the Amazon search engine. And we want to rank for those keywords that we picked earlier, okay? So then what we're going to do is, once we've made all these sales and we've reached very high up on the search engine, okay, then we want to follow up with our customers, okay? Right. And we want to give them more value. We want to thank them. We want to establish a relationship with them, okay? We want to keep them as lifetime customers, okay? And in order to do that, we want to give them as much value as possible. And then, and here's the important part, here's how you get the review. You want to ask them for honest feedback, okay? You want to ask them, how can I improve my product? Okay, how can I make this better? How can I suit your needs even more? Okay, and you do that by asking them for honest, unbiased reviews. Okay, and then what you do is you take those reviews and you improve your product. You listen. Okay, you listen to your customers because they have voted for you. They have voted for you with their wallets. Okay, and that's what you want. You want to listen to the people who have paid you money. Okay, because they are your customers. They are important. So it's really that simple, you guys. So we've talked about the 4 things that we promised. One, perfecting our Amazon listing. Okay. 2, optimizing our Amazon PPC, our pay-per-click. Okay. 3, how to select keywords. And 4, how to generate high quality, unbiased product reviews. Okay. But because I want to provide even more value on this call, I want to tell you guys about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, okay? And this is an opportunity that I've taken advantage of, right? And the reason I want to share this with you is because of the value that I've gotten from it, okay? And this opportunity is called the Amazon Superstar. And the Amazon Superstar is a course, okay? It is a digital course launched by Chris. Okay, now he's taken all of his expertise, all of his knowledge, all of the things that he's learned in his months and years and months of doing this, of making a ton of money on Amazon, okay? And he's put it all into this one course, okay? So what do you get from this course? Chris, can you give a little insight on exactly what you get out of this course?
Yeah, so I built this course, the Amazon Superstar, with the intention of when someone has a product list, when they have a product on Amazon, then it's game on. Look, everyone can put a product on Amazon. That's quite a simple formula. You get your supplier, you set up your Amazon account, you set your business account, you get your bank account, and then you ship it to Amazon. Nice, easy. But what happens then when your product's live on Amazon? It's daunting. It becomes overwhelming. So I've created the course with the intention of helping people make sales, because that is one of the most important things, and this is why we're doing it. For sales and revenue, to create that financial freedom, to create that passive income while we sleep, while we do everything in the day, spend time with our friends, family, and loved ones. So my course runs through a load of things. Now, I don't want to go into every single aspect because we'll be here for the next 5 minutes me listing it. So I've really focused and honed in on some of the most important elements that we've spoke about in this webinar, being your title, your key features. I bet everyone's bored of hearing them three. Your promotions, I go over the right price points to set for your product, the cost price versus your supplier versus the correct sale price you should list it for on Amazon, different tweaks like this, all of your back end, the important information, the keywords, the search terms, the platinum keywords. I go through everything. I go through variation points, your description, again, promotions, and I go through a massive section on Amazon PPC, which is the promotional internal system. I go through the images, and then there's the 16 bonuses, okay? So there's 16 bonuses that I've said to people so many times, and one of them is I send out my free, I send you out to your doorstep, wherever you are in the world, my free personalized coffee, guys. And that's just like a personal touch for me to say thank you and welcome to the course. And I appreciate everything everyone's done for me in terms of support. You also get the secret Facebook group, the one you're in, Ben, and there's a load of value in there. There's different advanced levels. There's beginners and intermediates. There's advanced Amazon sellers, and we all communicate on a level where it's just a nice community.
And
so
if I could jump in right there and talk about this Facebook group, right? One of the biggest things that you'll find, and I actually think that this Facebook group is one of the biggest pieces of value of this entire course, okay? Because one of the things that you'll find on your journey on Amazon is that you're going to have a lot of questions, okay? Now, Chris's course is going to answer 99% of those questions, okay? But when you have very specific questions that you just don't know how to do something, and it's very specific to your product, you need people to ask. So when you get into our mastermind, our secret Facebook group, you have access to Chris, you have access to me, you have access to all these people who are succeeding in making tons and tons of money on autopilot on Amazon, and you can ask them questions, and because you're in this group, they're going to answer you. And you can Skype with everybody, you can hit them up on Facebook. We're all very accessible, right? Yeah. And the idea is we all want to succeed together, right? Because when we figure out how to succeed as a unit, and we can all succeed as a group, as a mastermind, everybody benefits, right? Something that you think of, somebody else might not think of. Somebody else might think of, you might not think of. So it's that connection, that mentorship that is so valuable. In addition to the course, in addition to the bonuses, in addition to a personalized coffee, like package of coffee that's going to come to your doorstep. I mean, it's just incredible. So, in addition, we also have the 12 steps to Amazon success, which is Chris's very own free Amazon FBA training guide. You get a free coaching call with Chris, a free coaching call one-on-one with Chris Jones. You get the Superstar monthly webinar, which after having attended some, this is awesome. We all just get together, we bounce ideas off each other, problem solve, and help each other out and figure out how we can all succeed. You get Zone Life Success membership site access, so you get access to the entire site and you get a membership to it. You also get the Wealthy versus the Poor Amazon Seller, which is a free book that Chris is offering. You have access to online resources at all times 24/7 that you can use to, again, improve your Amazon product listing and help with your overall goal of making money on Amazon. You get a 50% discount on all future courses. Now, let me just reiterate that this does not mean that you're going to have to pay more money for the Amazon Superstar. If Chris decides to do an extra course on something else besides the Amazon Superstar, you get a 50% discount on that. Now, you also get a secret interview with Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout. Brilliant guy. Would very highly recommend listening to this interview. You get ongoing email support. You get an Amazon listing checklist that Chris has put together. You get tons of testimonials from fellow superstars. You get a customer email follow-up sequence. So when you are dealing with customers and you wouldn't just kind of put this whole thing on autopilot, you're going to need emails in order to do that. And Chris is going to provide you with that customer email follow-up sequence. And then you get resources to help you become an SEO expert. But Chris, you didn't stop there, right? Because what you did was you made a promise to everybody. And that promise was for the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to continuously develop this course and you're going to add more content and you're going to keep adding to this course and you're going to build an entire Amazon Superstar course, okay? Well, what you get now is the product listing, okay? And that is one of the most important things, okay? And everything that you talked about is super important, but there are still different steps to the Amazon journey, okay? And in the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to give that to everybody. And you're going to give that to everybody for free, okay? And this course does cost money, right? Because it costs your time and it costs your expertise, and you're giving away the keys to the kingdom here, right? You're absolutely giving people what they need.
This course, Ben, has took a total of 420 hours of work, and yeah, I can sleep now. So yeah, you can carry on. But yeah, there will be additional content added every single week, every month, consistently for the next 6, 12, and upwards of that month. So my vision is I want to build this into not one of the best, but the best, the most effective, and the most efficient Amazon course on the entire internet. And that is my vision, and I won't stop until that happens. And the testimonials that we're getting at the moment, like one of my clients, Dan, he hasn't even started on Amazon. He's just come on to Amazon. He's already done $11,000 in the first 30 days. One of my clients, Josh, we were sitting in a coffee shop earlier. He'd done more sales than me this morning. It was just insane, and he only launched last week. He's probably watching this webinar. Shout out, Josh! But yeah, it's crazy, and it's just this is mind blowing. And these people are not marketers. They're not Amazon sellers. Like, no one is starting out, and then it just erupts into something real. You see those get-rich-quick scheme kind of courses online. You see these coaches and all these other stuff that promise empty promises. But I just want everyone to know that this is a reality. I'm just an average person, as well as many other Amazon sellers who are making it happen every single hour of the day on automation, looking after their family, friends, loved ones, and creating something that many people could only dream of. Just to interrupt you there slightly, Ben, you can continue now.
Absolutely. So, as I was saying, it is a complete package, okay? And, when we were doing this webinar, I thought, okay, everybody's going to want this course. Everybody wants to dominate Amazon. They want to be an Amazon superstar. But so many of these courses they're out of reach, okay? And so, I talked to Chris, and we decided that for today only, for the people that are on this webinar right now, and only them, because it's not fair to everybody else who's paid, the full price for this, that we're going to give a very special discount, okay? And what that discount is we're going to cut the price in half. That's right. We're going to cut the price in half. For today only, for the people on this webinar only. This is a one-time offer. You will absolutely not get this any other time. But we're going to cut the price in half, okay? And Chris, I want to thank you for doing that, okay? Because you put in so much time and so much effort, and you really put in your blood, sweat, and tears, and you put your heart into this, okay? And to allow people to get this product, this course, at such a low price, I mean, that's just unbelievable. So I think it really speaks to your character, and I want to thank you for your generosity. But to everybody listening, you got to take advantage of this now, okay? This is not going to happen again. And in the next 6 to 12 months, the only thing that's going to happen is that the price is going to increase. That's the only thing that's going to happen. The price will never be this low again, okay? So, Chris, how much do you think is the course worth if you were to add up everything individually?
It's over £5,300 UK. That's the value on it. That's the actual value, the combined added total value for all of the modules, the chapters, all of the components, all of the bonuses. Even the free coaching call with myself that people get through Skype, which is £149 an hour, which I charge for online coaching. They get that for free, so that's actually built in with a 50% off price that people are getting. It's a big value, and I can promise every single one of you that I've put my heart and soul into this, blood, sweat, and tears. I've held nothing and will continue to hold nothing back. And I will only build this into its own special empire over the next 6 to 12 months. And I just want to say that I'm always here for support. I'm a social media maniac, so I'm always on Facebook. I'm always willing to help the next person, and never hesitate to get in touch with Ben or myself about anything. Sometimes I might take a few hours to message back, but I promise that I'll always get back to you with the full help and value that you need. I'll be your support system, and yeah, I just want to know you'll never ever be through this journey on your own. And I look forward to hearing from every single one of you. So yeah, it's been great.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining in on this webinar. The link to purchase is going to be either in the chat box, and I'm going to put the link up right after we're done talking. But again, you got to take advantage of this now. I mean, you're getting 50% off of the true listing price, and you're getting, you're getting a tenth. You're spending a tenth of the money on 10 times the value. Okay, it's just a no-brainer. If you're trying to sell on Amazon and you want to make money on autopilot, and you in 3 to 5 years want to be able to sell this asset of yours and retire in 3 to 5 years, okay, 397 pounds or $489, that's nothing. Yeah. That's nothing. Yeah. Think about the long term, okay? Think about the long term.
It's a one-off payment. It's a one-off payment, and there's no upsells. There's zero upsells. There's zero additional costs. So some of the courses you'll be hit with an upsell, a downsell. Guys, I promise you wholeheartedly, there's no upsells, there's no additional costs. This is just full, real course information. I'm not the type of person to do that anyway. So just, if you have any questions at all, email me as well. Prior to sign up, if you have any questions, let's get on Skype and let's talk about it a bit more. Whatever you need, you can do that at zonlifesuccess@gmail.com. So, yeah, it's been awesome. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping on the webinar. And to everybody else, you have a fantastic day.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.